Alright, I just had to record this because, I was playing, play money heads up full tilt here. This is what this is. And, this guy informed me that raising preflop is, and I quote, merely a prelude to losing, he says. So, I asked him if he would add me on Skype and discuss poker theory, but, he doesn't seem to be amenable to that idea. So, let's see if he wants to add another table. Okay, here you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, another idiot who believes preflop raising is anything more than a prelude to losing, he says. That's me that he's talking about. So I'll check back here, and we'll see if he can show me why raising preflop and heads in the limit is a prelude to losing. So we'll call me down with ace high here. No, I don't think he's gonna call down light a whole lot either. Like, I think he's just really nitty so far. Like, I think that he's obviously doesn't open any buttons because that would be a prelude to losing, and he okay, sometimes he seems to like randomly 5x the button on occasion or something, 6x. I assume that's just his good hands, and he thinks that I'm going to be inelastic and just call with everything and not really care. Let's see, he hasn't been 3-betting too much, so I'm min-raising every button so far. It might be better to 3x against him, depending on how he behaves against min-raise and 3x in some different post-flop spots. We might play with that a little later. For now, I'm going to stick with min-raising. I think that's, well, he is folding a whole lot pre-flop, so he may be kind of like obliviously nitty and inelastic, which would probably make 3x a better opening line. He is folding some buttons, so he's probably, I don't know, limping half of buttons and folding the rest, or some terrible, ridiculous passive nitty strategy. So I'm going to try 3xing buttons, I think, because he seems to be kind of inelastic, so I might as well get a bigger pot going when I actually, when he actually calls me. Even though, you know, min-raising every button is tempting because it would steal blinds more cheaply, I think that making the pot a little bigger in position is probably more valuable against a range that's going to be like pretty inelastic anyway. He's not really going to change the way he plays terribly too much against 3x as he would, I mean, as opposed to min-raise. So if that's the case, like if he's going to play basically the same range against min-raise and 3x more or less, the same kind of tight inelastic range, and he's going to not really change it too much, then I think that 3xing is probably better because I want the pot to be bigger on the times that he does finally play with me. And I'm just going to 3x 100% of buttons for now, and if he starts playing back at me 3-betting or leading flops or something, then, you know, we'll cut it off, but I think he's just going to fold pre-flop too much, and probably, judging by that, may exploitatively fold the flop too much as well, but he's so tight pre-flop that I'm going to have to be really careful and tread lightly with any kind of c-bet bluffs unless I'm, like, barreling for sure. Because he's just going to be so tight that, unless he's also exploitatively folding a shit ton of flops, which I guess wouldn't be terribly unexpected, since he seems to be pretty bad, he's probably not folding that much post-flop just because he's so tight pre-flop that he doesn't have to. But I don't know. He might exploitatively fold really stupid spots post-flop too. We'll see. So, try some small... Oh, he just... Yeah, sometimes he just leads out like twice the pot or pot and a half or whatever. I assume that's just his good hands. I think he's just doing really obviously dumb, huge predictable stuff with his good hands only, and that makes him incredibly bad and predictable. I guess it's not surprising for play money, but just, you know, I really want to bust this guy and see what he says about pre-flop raising. See if I can get him to talk to me on Skype and tell me why pre-flop raising is terrible and has no limit. I just... And that's just awesome. And the fact that he said that is why I'm decided to record this. Oh. No, thank you. Okay, so just waiting on some spots there. Sorry, I meant to 3x there, but min raise is okay too. It's not really a huge deal. And get 3-bet. What do we call him? See what he's doing. Actually, he's like never 3-betting, so I'm gonna like give him a lot of credit here. I'm gonna check back flop for pot control because he's 3-betting a pretty low frequency, and I don't want to run into like a legit hand. Here I'm gonna bet 1/3 pot. See if I can get him to call me worse. But actually, yeah, he's just gonna inelastically fold. Okay, I think that 3xing preflop and then small balling post flop is gonna be good against this guy because I think that he's gonna be inelastic preflop and up to the 3x anyway, and very exploitatively foldy, inelastic foldy post flop. So. Okay, so again he's limping, I don't know, he's limping maybe half of buttons, maybe even a little less than that, so like his button range is just absurdly tight in general, so I'm not really gonna screw with him much unless, you know, like it's a limped pot and he checks or something like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start including some more small ball lines post flop instead of just the standard polarized ones. But I'm also going to 3x preflop. So it's like a little bit of a hybrid style where I'm using a more polarized open sizing because I think he's inelastic anyway and isn't going to change his range much against min raise. And then I'm using a more small ball kind of merged post flop style. Of course, it's also going to include lots of one and done bluffs because he probably, well, I don't know. If he folds flops too much, then it will include a lot of one and done bluffs. We'll see whether or not he actually does that. He 3-bets huge. Alright. So he's actually starting to 3-bet some kind of moderately reasonable frequency. So I guess he's not total mid all the time. Maybe he just hit a few hands, I don't know. We'll see. What's he gonna do here? Like 10x? No, he doesn't raise buttons because that's clearly a losing play. So I'm gonna 4x over his limp here. See what he does. Probably just folds. Might be too big. Should perhaps just 3x his limps, but yeah, he just folds. Stick with 3x preflop, I think, for now. Probably both on the button and against the limp. I'm not gonna attack with like no equity whatsoever. Obviously I just have like a bad gutter here with reverse implieds and double pots it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just overbet bombs his good hands and like maybe, I don't know, maybe he's occasionally bluffing, but I'm pretty sure he just has it so often because he does it at a pretty low frequency. I just have no reason to try to play back at him without strong equity. It just doesn't matter. There's no reason to bother. Alright, well, prelude thus far doesn't seem to have led into any losing on my end, but, you know, I mean, you never know. He could pull out some crazy, amazing shit, for all I know. Let's see what happens, though. Oh yeah, min raise, I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna, I guess, just gonna forget occasionally and min raise some buttons, but it doesn't matter too much. I'm generally more used to min-raising buttons, so I've only started to 3x more often a bit recently. Mostly against very inelastic nits like this guy that are gonna not really change their out-of-position range against different sizes much at all. Just stay generally tight, regardless. He just leads double pot. Okay, you get it, bro. Maybe he's leading and 3-betting off that I shouldn't open every single button. I think I should probably back off to my kind of secondary button gear now, which is going to be like 80% of buttons, 75%, something. I'm just going to cut out like the total garbage that has like very poor showdown value. I guess Jack 2 off is probably like near the bottom of my range then. But I think it's hard to not open the button if you have one face card and heads up. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to 3x over his limp here. He'll probably, I think he'll limp call this, but he might be starting to use a limp fold. It'd be funny. He does, in fact, limp fold to 3x. Okay, good enough. Yeah, this guy's so nitty preflop. I just have no real incentive to be trying to bluff him much at all, ever. Like, I'm just going to win from blinds and c-bets. Not even c-bets, I'm just going to win from preflop money. Like, I mean... Alright, let's just jab at this one. But if he calls, I mean, I don't really need to try to barrel him off stuff unless I get a really good scare card, because he raises huge. It's fine. He's starting to play pretty aggressively here, actually. It's interesting. Maybe he does play more aggressively against 3x than min raise, or maybe he's just hitting some cards. I don't really know. I'm gonna keep sticking with 3x for now. Get 3-bet huge. Wow, he's 3-betting kind of a lot. Yeah, I suppose my button should be somewhat backed off right now. Maybe downward of towards 70%, 60%, somewhere in there. Gonna cut some more crappy stuff. Probably gonna cut most of the hands that I can't continue against 3-bet with, I guess. What is he gonna donk pot here? Checks it. I'll just check back. I don't really have much momentum right now, and obviously I know I could well. I turn in 9. It's okay. I'll check back again. Hopefully get value bet on the river, or like he'll bluff into me or something maybe. Should double pot the river. Overbets it. All right. Let's just call one down and see what he has. Nothing. Okay. Or a 4. So he can actually overbet the river with garbage because I folded to it enough times. 5x's. I will flat jack 10 suited. Flop nothing. I wonder if I can steal this with a small bluff here. He might have post-oak value. He might level himself into a fold, or he might just have nothing. Yeah, there we go. Still 3xing buttons. Got a gutter. Gonna see that pot. Oh yeah, I thought I had considered putting some more small ball lines in, but I don't really like doing that with a hand that's as weak as a gutter. I'd prefer to polarize that as a bluff, or just not really bet it most of the time. So I think that my small ball lines are going to be a lot more like good draws and like medium strength and value hands, and then like some of my monsters, and then of course some of my monsters will be pot bets depending on game flow and so on. I'm actually going to raise here because I think he limp folds like way too much actually. Let's see if I can get him to limp fold. Let's see if he'll limp fold again. Like if he's willing to, no he doesn't, but I'll flop with 5. Alright, I'm just going to half pot it kind of for probe thin value. Whatever, and he folds, it's fine. I can probably half pot a ridiculous number of flops against this guy because he's going to fold to it inelastically way too much, which lets me have absurdly high flop aggression that I shouldn't be able to get away with. But he's awful, so I can get away with it. He just overshoves. Alright, I'll fold second pair. Lead overshove 10 times pot. Good hand. Good hand. Alright, here I'm gonna raise his limp again. Jack 6 suited. I'm doing it kind of wide because I just think he's gonna play kind of badly on the flop. I think he's gonna fold to half pot like ridiculously often because he's not. He probably doesn't understand how to be elastic against different sizes on the flop. Yeah, he just folds me. Like, he just has way too high a folding frequency to half pot in a ton of these spots. So like, I'm gonna fold 8-3 off because I think he's 3-betting enough that and we're getting short enough, I guess. Well, I don't know. He still has 60 big ones or whatever. So it's not terribly short. Kind of semi-short, I guess. Trip aces are good. I'm gonna pot it and hope he thinks I'm bluffing. Nah, he just folds. I think that, yeah, since he's inelastic, the exploitative strategy against someone who's kind of obliviously inelastic like that and just doesn't really pay attention to your sizing at all is to underbet all your bluffs and bet big with all your value. So I'm actually going to do that against this guy, even though that's extremely exploitable. He's just clearly not aware enough to even notice or exploit it. If it starts to look like he's exploiting it, we can change it, but I think that he is like really cluelessly inelastic enough that we can get away with just betting small with every bluff and betting big with every value hand. Actually, maybe I shouldn't be opening 10 deuce offsuit because, well, okay, I've got a little more momentum now. It's probably alright at the moment. I'm back up to probably, 85% of buttons or whatever now, because I got a little more momentum. Just lead pot because it's non-raised pot. And calls, alright. I'm going to half pot turn. And overbet river. Yeah, okay, he doesn't want to pay off any overbets. I just want to get some overbet image going so that I can, like, if he's seen me overbet a few times, this is a lot of times how fish work, if they've seen you overbet before, even if they didn't see you show down, it kind of plants the possibility in their mind that you could be overbet bluffing, so then you can, like, overshove the nuts in other spots, and they'll, like, call you sometimes, and it's silly and funny and profitable. I guess not clay money, but, So, I guess, yeah. This is a long prelude to me losing. I'm gonna raise his limp to 3x again. That's a pretty good flop. Well, actually, it's not a great flop at all. But I'm gonna half pot it. I wish they had a half pot button instead of a min button. He jams, I call. He has top pair and some backdoor draws. Oh boy. Did not get there. I'm gonna be a smartass in chat. So, any buffoon like me can get lucky, but my utter stupidity is a lifetime of application. Oh, he revised, yes. Oh, good. Oh man, I hope he teaches me what's awful about raising preflop in this game. Hope on this time he can teach me. I'm opening pretty damn wide on the button right now. Probably. Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe that was a little too wide, given how... I don't know. He still has over 60 big blinds. I wasn't really expecting a 3-bet jam. That seems kind of awful. I'm just never ever going to call that without a monstrous hand, and it seems terrible. So I'm going to fold some buttons with some garbage hands, but I'm still probably opening over 80% of buttons here. Like 85, 90. Yeah, 9-5 off is bottom of my opening range, I guess. And flop 2 pair like the boss. Cool. Double pots it. I call. That's not the best turn, but it's fine. I'm still going to be good a lot of the time. I call his jam. He has ace and a gutter. And rivers trips like a boss. Fantastic. Alright, here we go. This is a good spot to play a small ball line. Because we got like kind of a lot of my these kind of middling top pair poor kicker or second pair or whatnot hands, like things like that aren't like weak enough to just have to be bet as a bluff big, and but aren't really strong enough to just be like bombed as good big value hands. Whereas good draws can kind of go either way. I'm like, that's an area I've been kind of working on, is sizing on the flop with your good draws is like, if you're playing different sizes, how much should you balance, like when should you put your draws in your half pot range as opposed to your pot range and so on. Still working on that somewhat, but 10-3 off. No, I just fold. I feel like he's got some momentum back now that he won that big pot, so gonna maybe tighten my button a little to 75-80%. I think queen 2 off still makes it in there. I'm gonna check back with my weak pair here. I do not really like this board. I'll probably fold to most of the turn lead. Hopefully get to showdown here. Maybe the pair of twos against ace high or something. Oh no, he has a 4. Well, that'll do it. He folds his button. So I think that he is now, limping a lot of buttons. He 3-bets very big. This would be like upwards of 10%, 8% of stacks. Yeah, I can call this barely. I have enough room. Flop a gutter, 2 kind of marginal overs. Checks it. I think you can bet pretty big here. I'm gonna 3/4 pot it. Maybe half pot's better here. I don't know. I want to. Yeah, there we go. I didn't want a half pot because I felt like I needed a little more equity to do that. The gutter I was not too comfortable with, and I wasn't sure if my overs were clean, so I kind of turned it into more. I just definitely turned it into more of a bluff, like a 1-barrel bluff there for the big one, unless I improve on the turn. He limped 3-bets. Okay, I will call him with king 9 suited and see what he's doing all this mess with. I unfortunately kind of have to just give up that board because a lot of his limp 3-bet range is going to be doing well in there. I'm going to bomb the turn here. And he folds. Alright. I might not have needed to bet that big on the turn. I'm not sure. I kind of went for the polarized sizing there by default because I wasn't sure if he was going to fold often enough for me to get away with like underbet bluffing the turn. I'm gonna lead out with the gutter and limped pot. I think he'll just fold often, or he'll raise enormous off of it. That is fine too. Yeah, Jack 5 off still kind of barely makes it into that 80% range or whatever, I believe. He's not 3-betting too much at this point, so go ahead and raise ace 5 off, a little wide out of position against his limp, but he limp folds. The fact that he has a limp folding range against 3x is kind of appalling. That was too wide. Shouldn't have actually raised that button there, but I guess it worked out that time. There's no equity. I'm just going to check fold this one. I'll have one now and again. I don't think this guy has any idea that he's just too tight, and like I don't really have to do anything really particularly out of line post-flop to beat him, because I'm just winning blinds over and over and winning small pots constantly. And I don't really care if he overbet bombs his monsters all the time. I just fold. And I don't think he understands that really. I think he's just like at the beginning of starting to understand small wall, sort of, and he doesn't understand how to play with sizes. It's okay, we've all been there, or at least I have. I'm going to half pot my open ender, because I think that he folds the pot kind of a lot more. Well, I don't know. Maybe he folds. That's an ambiguous spot. That might have been a pot bet. I'm not really sure. I think half pot is okay, given my momentum right now. Pot would also be okay, though. Alright, looks like I actually gotta go, so I'm gonna end this session here. But this has been fun. I'll see if this fish emails me. Catch you guys up later.